What things do people romanticize but are actually horrible? Huge public marriage proposals that pressure someone into saying yes or be embarrassed. I have a guilty pleasure watching the genre of these style proposals where the girl says no and runs off. Come sit by me, I'll make popcorn and snacks. Own and operating a bed and breakfast. Yes, my ex and I bought rental cabins instead of doing a B&B. It was an inordinate amount of work even without breakfast. We lived on the premises and were open year-round. We'd have people telling us they wanted to do similar when they retired. It's a full-time job where you're on call 24/7 for guests, and they live in your home. I've been out for almost 10 years, and I still can't sleep correctly. This is my wife's casual dream. I maintain that it sounds like an absolute nightmare for me. I would like to interact with people less, not more. She's not even extroverted either. Hard pass. Imagine being awoken in the middle of a snowstorm by a guest saying their room was freezing. Last weekend you had pipes burst from the February cold. So you rush over there at 2 a.m. in -5 degrees temp and find their cabin at 82 degrees and the guy is shirtless complaining it's cold. So now you have to show the genius how to light a fire in his fireplace. Not with logs, kindling, etc. Dude can't figure out the Duraflame. Touch the paper with fire and it'll do its thing fire log. There were some good parts of that job, but all it took was one shit-heel guest to make the entire thing a living hell. Living any time in the past that didn't have running water or toilet paper, or antibiotics, or the medical practices in general. Even as nobility in the Renaissance era, you could easily die from an infected cut or basic illness. Women died from childbirth with far more regularity then. Physicians then didn't generally wash their hands or regularly disinfect their instruments. I think about this all the time. I think people don't realize how different things would be without clean water and sewer systems. Reminds me of people who love medieval fantasies. Wouldn't it be great to live in a setting like Game of Thrones? No. The sanitation would be awful, the food trash, and you'd have a non-zero chance of catching an STD. And people always imagine themselves as nobility, not peasants. Breakups or makeups was waiting for someone to say this. I think people often confuse drama or toxicity with passion. Sex on beaches and in hot tubs. Sand and chemicals make poor lube. I fucked on the beach in high school, and I'm now 37 and in perimenopause. I just stopped finding sand. Did you check for pearls? Taking the clam metaphor very literally. I see. Overworking or hustle culture. I know someone who puts no days off in their social media bio, and it's so annoying because I know it's a lie. It's always well-off people who romanticize overworking. Freelancing. 1. Instead of working for a boss, you work for several bosses. 2. Doing taxes is a mess if you're a US citizen. 3. Fluctuating income. And instead of doing, say, graphic design, you're now spending 1/3 of your time doing marketing, sales, and accounting. Yep. I had to stop freelancing graphic design. My day graphic design job is all the bullshit I can put up with. Being married to a celebrity, could you imagine being in that much of the limelight all the time? How horrible and criticized over everything in the media? Probably why they're all married 10 times. Not that they don't love each other in the beginning, but the work schedule, travel, and being in the spotlight. The pressure would just be overwhelming. I think it's also the reason a lot of celebs marry celebs, not some normie. The other celebs understand the lifestyle. Serial killers. It is not okay to be in love with a cannibal that killed 17 young boys. I live in the city that same monster did most of his killings in. That's the first thing a lot of people say when I mention being from there. Much more interesting things came from here, like Harley Davidson. Working for a nonprofit. You are generally doing the work of 3 people for 1/3 of the pay you would get at a similar job in a for-profit, and the knowledge that you are doing some good in the world isn't as satisfying when you can never vacation or retire. Also, if you are working with clients directly, a lot of them are openly hostile to you because they are embarrassed about needing help or are just generally unwell. A majority of history. Jealousy and possessiveness. I have had female friends upset when their significant other doesn't seem to have these traits. I am guessing they are reading far too many mafia romances. A psychologist actually wrote a paper on the impact of romance books that normalize abusive traits. It was called He seized her in his manly arms and bent his lips to hers. The surprising impact that romantic novels have on our work. A man being obsessed with you. A lot of romantic TV shows and movies make it seem adorable and harmless, but most of the time it's actually abusive and scary. I casually dated a man once from about mid-October through December before breaking it off. It was nothing serious. He wouldn't stop sending me texts, emails, and calls, even though I made it clear I was not interested and I was not even reading his emails. He showed up at my door on Valentine's Day and, my mistake, when I cracked the door to tell him to go home and reiterate I was not interested, he put his foot into the door. Luckily, my roommate was home and nothing happened. 6 months later, I posted on Facebook in real time about a fun event I was attending, and he showed up. I got a court-ordered restraining order after that. It's been about 10 years now, and I live in a completely different city, but I'm still terrified. The end of a marriage. Until death do us part. The experience of being a widow after having found your person, shared a life, and built a family together is traumatizing, and it continues being so. It just feels like there is no reprieve, and the only person you want to discuss any of that with is your dead spouse. That's what makes grief so bad. I haven't lost a spouse, but I have lost my best friend, and years later, I still want to talk to him about things. It's still gutting every time. Wedding debt. Why burden yourself with that? Never understood it. Mental health disorders and autism or ADHD. You see so many people on social media who make these things out to be quirky or even almost cute in films depicting the slightly crazy, manic pixie dream girl, but they are in reality seriously debilitating conditions that mostly just ruin people's lives or hold them back immensely. Yeah, it's not fun. If I could trade in my ADHD, I would without hesitation. It's not fun, it's not quirky. It's damn annoying to turn around and immediately forget when you were doing. It's annoying to be designated to 2 tasks because that's what you hold in your hands, and if you put it down, you forget. It's annoying to leave food out and wasting it because you got sidetracked. It's annoying when you want to finish a task, but the noise in your head is so loud that you can't concentrate. It's annoying to live in a dirty place cause you can't seem to stay on cleaning task. All of it, throw it out the window. Diamonds. Not fake ones, but mined diamonds. Convincing people that spending more for unethically sourced rocks equals proof of romantic commitment must be one of the greatest and most despicable marketing cons ever. Relationships where you attempt to fix a broken person. Usually beautiful diamond in the rough types. Someone with extremely attractive natural physical features, but a genuinely shitty life, or past that makes them terrible to be around due to personality disorders or antisocial defense mechanisms. Many times, it's in part due to that natural beauty. Listen, just fucking don't. Trauma is trauma, and healing that shit is a resource-intensive and time-consuming endeavor that romance absolutely fucking complicates. Caretakers themselves go through a lot of abuse when dealing with people who have disorders. What do you think it'll look and feel like when someone like that thinks you should be able to take it and not dish it back? You will become financially responsible for someone rejecting all that gives order in life while trying to keep a lid on your own. You will need to eventually house them yourself when they realize they can rely on you. You will have to work enough to provide for 2 people and fill their vices, of which there will be many. Because raw-dogging mental trauma is extremely uncommon, and that life is often comorbid with all kinds of substance abuse, have absolutely impenetrable mental and saintly patience, or else any progress will be eliminated at the slightest perceived falter on your part. You will need to stay in constant communication and will need to be available or accessible at even the most inconvenient of times. The whole time they will be studying and learning through interactions and conversations on how to hurt you and what makes you tick, and express microaggressions or occasionally act out to see what works, and doesn't so when you try to make them do something they don't want to do. They can sling something your way as a defense mechanism and prevent the painful process of growth or healing on their part. Got a family. You will have to choose which is more important way sooner than normal and under a lot more pressure. I can go on. Doing shit like this just requires a disparity in resources that is out of this world. One person literally cannot do it, and one person very, very likely can't afford it. And even then, the person you're trying to fix might still hate you for being a part of it. your very association with stuff they don't like could remain as a trigger regardless of your intentions. A lot of this can be labeled under codependency, which is a kind of relationship everyone should avoid. Thanks for watching. Don't romanticize life, just live it. And don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed the video. See you tomorrow. Big hugs.